If your community isn't showing up on Google, you're not just missing clicks, you're missing move-ins. Because when families start searching for senior living, they don't start with a referral agency or drive around town. They start with a search bar. And if you're not there front and center, your competitor is. In this episode, I'm giving you the exact playbook we use at CCR Growth to help communities dominate Google, drive more tours, and build sustainable growth without blowing your budget on guesswork or gimmicks. From local SEO secrets and Google business profile wins to smart ad strategies and websites that actually convert, we're covering it all. Let's get into it.
Welcome to From Leads to Leases, a CCR Growth podcast that helps senior living providers transform their complex challenges into opportunities. Listen in for stories from industry leaders, innovative strategies, and insights. And with our expertise, learn how to increase occupancy faster, guaranteed.
Welcome back to another episode of From Leads to Leases, the podcast that dives deep into the senior living and senior care industries, bringing you insights, strategies, and stories from the experts at the forefront of marketing, sales, operations, and innovation. I'm your host, Vinci, CEO of CCR Growth. And for those of you who don't know about us, CCR Growth is a full-service marketing and growth agency exclusive to the senior living industry. And through this podcast, I'm here to guide you through the evolving landscape of the senior care industry, helping communities connect with the families and residents they serve in more meaningful and effective ways that truly impact your bottom line. So today, we are diving into something that's become non-negotiable for your growth, Google. And specifically, we're talking about how to dominate search, local SEO, your Google business profile, Google ads, and conversion tracking, and how all of this fits together into a system that drives more tours, lowers cost per move-in, and gives you full control of your pipeline. Whether you're already running ads or just getting started, this episode will give you a clear, actionable roadmap to show up where it matters and turn that visibility into real-world results. So let's jump in. Let's start with a question I ask every community we work with. When someone starts searching for a senior living community, where do they go first? The answer 9 times out of 10 is Google. In fact, according to a 2024 Bright Local Consumer Survey, 98% of consumers use the internet to find information about local businesses, and 87% read online reviews before making a decision. And when it comes to high stakes, emotionally charged decisions like choosing care for a loved one, that behavior intensifies. A 2023 Google Health and Wellness study found that over 77% of people researching care options for older adults use search engines as their first step. That's not hearsay, that's real data that matches exactly what we see across campaigns we manage at CCR Growth. Search behavior is driving the initial and often final decisions families make when narrowing down which communities to contact or tour. And while Google isn't a new thing, the digital front door is now the main door. In the past, you might have relied on referrals, postcards, or walk-ins, but today, if you're not on page 1 of Google results or in the local 3-pack map listings, your community might as well not exist. It's that simple. So think about your own behavior when looking for a restaurant or a doctor. You search near me, skim the reviews, look at some photos, and make a decision often without ever clicking past the first few results. It's no different when families are researching options for independent living, assisted living, or memory care. In fact, it's even more critical because families often feel pressure to act fast, whether it's due to a sudden hospitalization, a rapid decline in health, or simply burnout from caregiving. So when they hit search, they're not browsing casually. They're looking for a solution right now. And I know some of you might be wondering, is Google still as important with all of these AI tools emerging like ChatGPT, Perplexity, or Gemini? That's a great question. AI answer engines are rising and they'll absolutely play a role in shaping how we find and interact with information. But right now, and for the foreseeable future, Google is still the primary gateway for search-based discovery. Even AI tools pull their information from Google indexed content, including your website, your reviews, your citations, and online presence. Plus, Google itself is also rapidly evolving into the AI-powered platform. The Search Generative Experience, or SGE for short, is already being tested to enhance search with AI-powered summaries, but it still pulls from authoritative optimized sources like your community's website and Google business profile. So what am I saying? Let me translate that for you. If your content isn't search visible, it won't be AI visible either. Your Google business profile, your website SEO, and your reviews are all ranking signals that both human users and AI platforms rely on. This makes Google your foundation. It's your home base for all current and future discovery behavior. So if you want more tours faster, there is no escaping this truth. You need to be easily found on Google when families search for care in your area. Not buried on page 3, not competing with the big box referral sites, not listed under the wrong category or with outdated photos, but front and center with an optimized listing, trusted reviews, and clear answers to the questions families are desperate to resolve. When you dominate local search, you own the conversation and you dramatically lower your cost per lead, your time to tour, and your dependence on paid directories or third-party referral agencies. So yes, Google still matters, and more than ever. The first strategy I want to talk about is how Google actually decides which communities show up at the top of the search results when someone types in assisted living near me or memory care in Brookfield, for example. It's not random. Google's local algorithm is built around 3 core ranking factors: relevance, proximity, and authority. So if you're not intentionally optimizing for all 3, your visibility and lead volume will suffer. And I want to break down each one because these are super important for you to understand. So first, proximity. Are you close to the searcher? This is the easiest to understand. Google wants to show results that are physically close to the person searching. So if someone is sitting in their living room in Pewaukee, Wisconsin, and searches senior living near me, Google prioritizes communities located in or near Pewaukee, not Milwaukee or Wauwatosa or Madison. But proximity isn't just about physical distance. It's also about digital signals that confirm your location, like a verified Google business profile with an accurate address, or embedded Google Map pins on your website, or consistent name, address, phone number, or NAP for short, info across all the other directories that are listed online. And lastly, there's local schema markup or code that you can put into your website to help Google understand your location contextually. So if your location data is inconsistent, missing, or vague, you're making it harder for Google to place you on the map, literally. The second core ranking factor is relevance. Are you the right match for this search? Google will ask, does this business actually offer what the person is searching for? If someone searches respite care near me, but your site only talks about assisted living, you're unlikely to show up, even if you do offer respite care. This is where content strategy and on-page SEO come in. Each core service, independent living, assisted living, memory care, respite, personal care, should have its own dedicated page. And those pages should include your city and service in headlines and throughout the copy. So for example, respite care in Brookfield, Wisconsin, or memory care services in Pewaukee include FAQs based on real questions families ask so you can match long tail searches like how does memory care work for early stage dementia? By aligning your content with the actual terms people search for, you increase your relevance, which tells Google this community is a great match for the search. And the last core ranking factor is authority. Can you be trusted? Authority is all about trust. Google wants to show the most credible and well-established options in your local area. So how does it measure that? First, Google's looking at online reviews, the quantity, how recent the reviews are, and the average star rating of those reviews all matter. Second, inbound links. Are other credible local websites linking to you? Think local news outlets, chambers of commerce, senior-focused blogs. Third, directory consistency. Are you listed on all of the right places? Not just caring.com or Place for Mom, but Yelp, Yellow Pages, City Pages, Bing, Apple Maps. There are roughly 100 core directory listings out there that power most directories across the web. So you want to make sure you're showing up on all of those, plus any regional business directories. And lastly, Google's looking at website strength. Is your site fast? Is it mobile optimized? And is it well structured? The more of these trust signals you can send, the more Google believes this is a well-known, legitimate community worth showing to searchers. Digging into authority a little bit further, you've probably heard the term location authority before, and here's what that really means. Location authority is Google's confidence that your business is accurately located where you say it is. It's highly relevant to the services searched in that area, and it's more trustworthy and established than your local competitors. The more you show up consistently across the web with correct location info, robust service pages, fresh reviews, and third-party validation, the more authority you build. And over time, this makes Google more likely to rank you in the local map pack, the map box you see at the top of the local search results, the top organic listings, even in featured snippets or AI generated answers as Google rolls out more of those SGE, the search generative experience features. So if you want to improve your local authority, there's a few things you can do. So first and foremost, claim and fully complete your Google business profile. I can't tell you how many clients of ours have a Google business profile that's probably 25% complete. So make sure you're filling it out completely. Second, keep your NAP, your name, address, phone, consistent across all those different directory listings. Third, you need to generate new positive reviews on a regular basis. And you don't want to do like 1,000 in a day. You should probably space that out, but you want to consistently be generating reviews every week and every month without fail. Third, use location-specific pages on your website for every city that you serve. Next, build local backlinks by partnering with nearby organizations, guest posting or sponsoring community events, and make sure they link back to your website. It's one thing to make that connection, but if they're not linking to you, then there's really no benefit. Lastly, use tools like Yext, MozLocal, BrightLocal, or Whitespark to audit and fix your citation footprint. So think of it this way. Local SEO, it's not a trick. It's about proving to Google that your community is nearby, it's relevant, and it's reputable. And if you do that consistently, you'll start seeing your community show up in more searches, generate more qualified website traffic, and most importantly, get more families walking through your doors. Now that we've talked about local SEO, let's talk about the Google Business Profile itself. It's your MVP, and here's why. If your website is your virtual front door, then your Google Business Profile, or GBP for short, is your digital curb appeal. It's the first thing families see when they search for your community name, or even just assisted living near me in your city. It's your first impression, and most importantly, it's often your only chance to capture a high intent lead before they move on to a competitor. So I can share some data with you for a minute here. A 2023 Whitespark study found that your Google Business Profile is the #1 local SEO ranking factor for appearing in the local map pack. Those top 3 results I was talking about in the map. And those get the majority of clicks. And according to Google's own data, over 50% of mobile users who perform a local search end up visiting a business within a day. And lastly, a 2024 report by BrightLocal revealed that 64% of consumers have used Google Business Profiles to find business contact details. 82% say photos on a listing influence their decision, and 94% say reviews on a GBP affect whether they choose a business. So let's put that into some context for senior living. If someone is comparing 2 communities in the same town and you have fresh photos, you have rich content and 5-star reviews and active updates, while your competitor has blurry exterior shots from 2017 and no reviews since the pandemic, who do you think gets the call? So I'll say it again, just claiming your Google Business Profile is not enough. You need to actively manage it like it's your most important marketing channel, because in many ways it is. And there's a few ways to level it up without a whole ton of effort. So first, photos. Photos are power. Check out these statistics. Google reports that businesses with more than 100 photos get 520% more calls, 2,700% more direction requests, and 1,000% more website clicks. You don't need a professional photo shoot every week, but you do need a steady stream of resident activities, dining experiences, staff interactions, seasonal decor, events, and even tours. So make it real and make it human, and avoid stock photos. For the love of God, don't put those in your Google Business Profile. Second only to photos would be treat your Google Business Profile like it's a mini social feed. Within your Google Business Profile, you can post content just like a social media post directly to your listing. So you can use these to share open house events, new service offerings, staff spotlights, awards or recognitions, seasonal promotions or move-in specials, or even just blogs or thought leader content that your community is creating. And this doesn't take a lot of effort. You can post one per week minimum. This keeps your profile fresh in Google's eyes and gives searchers more reasons to click. Next, you really want to think about your reputation management. So your reviews, it's the currency of trust. Reviews aren't just social proof, they're an SEO signal. Google uses both quantity and recency of reviews. So how recent is that review to decide which listings to rank? And don't always swing for the fences and try to get the 5-star review. Sometimes if you focus less on the 5-star rating and more on the frequency and richness of the review content, it will benefit the community more. Ways to generate reviews without a whole ton of effort. First, ask every touring family to leave a review whether or not they move in. You can provide QR codes to families and residents for easy access, and you should be responding to every review, positive or negative, within 24 hours. And highlight standout reviews in your social and website content. So use those and leverage those to your advantage. Google highlights specific keywords from your reviews and search results too. So when someone says the memory care here is amazing, that phrase actually gets indexed into Google and can help you rank for similar searches around memory care. And the last really great feature of Google Business Profiles is the Q&A. You can provide answers before someone even asks. Google's Q&A section is powerful, and it's often an overlooked feature. You can seed your own questions and answers here. Yes, that's allowed, and it's actually encouraged. So think about what families ask on every tour and answer those questions ahead of time. Do you offer respite care? Are pets allowed? What's included in the monthly rent? Can I tour on weekends? Posting answers upfront helps eliminate friction and positions your community as responsive and transparent. And look, you've gotten some of these basic questions out of the way. So when your sales team actually has a conversation with this prospect, they are already informed and understand what the community has to offer. Just keep in mind that all of this matters because the Google Business Profile is equivalent to high intent traffic that you actually own. And it's important because your business profile shows up before your website shows up. So on mobile, it often shows up before everything else. And it includes your phone number with a click to call option. So if you're on a mobile device, you literally just click the button and you're connected to the community. Driving directions, reviews, photos, a link to your website, tour scheduling tools if you've integrated that. And every one of these can drive direct action without a single paid ad. So that's why it's not just a listing, it's a conversion engine. And when optimized properly, it can outperform your website in driving calls and tours. And I can tell you that in our experience, Google Business Profile leads will convert and tour roughly twice as often as leads from other sources. So you really want to focus on this and make it one of your primary areas of your marketing strategy. So if you're ignoring your Google Business Profile, you're ignoring your fastest path to the next move-in. I promise you. Treat it like your digital storefront. Keep it polished, keep it updated, and don't hand over that real estate to the community down the street because you couldn't be bothered to upload new photos. Your competitors are one click away. Next, let's talk about Google Ads, and let's talk about how to build smart Google Ads without blowing your budget. Google Ads can feel like a black hole. If anybody's run ad campaigns before, they know exactly what I'm talking about. You log in, you set a budget, you add a few keywords, and you hope for the best. Usually close your eyes too. Hope for the best. Before you know it, though, you've spent hundreds or thousands of dollars and you have no idea what actually worked or what results you got from it. But you don't need a massive ad budget to win on Google. You just need a smarter strategy. So I'm going to break that down step by step, and I'm going to keep it simple enough that anybody can understand. So a good strategy isn't just about keywords. It's about the overall approach. A lot of agencies or marketers just start throwing keywords at the wall like assisted living or memory care, hoping they'll stick. And that's a mistake. Instead, you need to start by asking, what kind of person am I trying to attract? And you need to think about, are they local or searching from another state to place a loved one? Are they actively ready to tour or just doing early research? Are they looking for a specific type of care like respite, memory, or independent living? When you understand that, you can structure your Google Ads into separate campaigns designed to speak directly to those groups. The first tip I can give you is to use geographic targeting that matches intent. So I always recommend splitting your ads into two main geographic groups. First, we have the inside radius campaign, which targets 0 to 10 miles around your community. And for this campaign, you want to use general near me type keywords, non-location specific keywords. So for example, senior living near me or assisted living community, any keyword that has the intent of somebody who's looking for a local search result. These are for local families or adult children that are close by. And then the second campaign would be an outside radius campaign, and that's anywhere from 10 to 25 miles around the community. And for this, you want to use location specific keywords. So for example, assisted living in Brookfield or memory care near Pewaukee. These are for long distance decision makers like adult children looking for a parent from another city or even out of state. So by splitting these out, you avoid wasting budget showing general ads to people 50 miles away or showing location specific ads to someone who lives right around the corner. There's also 3 different ways to tackle keywords. There's broad match, exact match, and phrase match. And most people burn money because they use broad match keywords. Broad match keywords are exactly what you might think. They're super broad. So they tell Google, for example, show my ad to anyone, anywhere searching for anything kind of related to senior living. That's how you end up paying for clicks from people searching senior living jobs or cheap nursing homes or even retirement memes. Instead, you need to stick with exact match. These are keywords that are in brackets, okay? And when you use these, your ad only shows if the search term exactly matches what you set. So for example, assisted living Brookfield in brackets. And then you have phrase match. Phrase match is in quotes, okay? The keyword's in quotes. And your ad will show if the search includes your keyword phrase. So for example, in quotes, assisted living in Pewaukee. But it could also say assisted living in Pewaukee, Wisconsin. Or it could say local assisted living in Pewaukee. All of those would trigger the phrase match keyword. But the bottom line is you stay in control of your budget with this strategy. Next, you also want to look at using negative keywords to avoid junk clicks. So you can add specific keywords to your campaign that if they're used in someone's search, your ad won't show. And that's what negative keywords are for. So some must-haves for senior living ads include keywords like jobs, free, training, cheap, how to become a caregiver, how to in general. I usually just use how to because there's a million different how to's that people type in. And nursing home horror stories. Yeah, that's a thing. People actually search that. Adding these terms prevents Google from wasting your money on people who were never your customer in the first place. My next piece of advice when it comes to ad campaigns is to send ads to landing pages and not to your homepage. That's a big one, actually. Your homepage is designed for general browsing and not conversion. Instead, you need to create landing pages for every one of your communities. Even if you just have the one community, there should be a specific landing page that your ad campaign will go to. And that's because it will be focused on one thing, one service like memory care, or one location, or one call to action like schedule a tour, request info, etc. So keep it simple. You need to have a headline with a benefit there. You need to have a short paragraph about your offering. You need to have a tour scheduling form. You need to have real photos and testimonials, a call button for mobile users, and that's it. The goal is to reduce distraction and drive action. And lastly, of course, with every ad campaign, you need to measure what matters. You don't need to be a data scientist to track your ads. Just focus on the 3 most important metrics. These are super simple. You've got cost per lead, okay? CPL for short. That's how much you paid for someone to call, to fill out a form, or schedule a tour. So it's basically what you've spent divided by the number of leads that you generated from the campaign. That's your cost per lead. Next, you have click-through rate, or CTR. So are people actually clicking your ads? A good benchmark is 3 to 5% typically, but for senior living ads, we typically aim for at least a 10% CTR. And this means our ads are highly relevant and requires less views to generate leads. The click-through rate is the number of impressions, so the number of times your ad shows up in the search results divided by the number of clicks that you get on your ads. That'll give you the click-through rate. And then lastly, you have the conversion rate. So of those who clicked, How many take action? A good website converts 3 to 5%, and great ones convert even higher. Now, keep in mind with senior living, while your ad campaign will count a form fill or maybe a phone call that's a certain length as a conversion, that's really just the first step in senior living. That doesn't mean that that person's going to move in. That just means that that person is in your CRM, and now your sales team has to do all the work to get them to the finish line. So conversion rate for an ad campaign is very different than a conversion rate when it comes to getting somebody from a lead to a lease. There are some cool tools you can use also to help you track your success of your campaigns. For example, call tracking software. There's a company called CallRail out there, which we use and we love. It actually helps you measure calls and form fills so you can see where traffic is coming from or which campaign is performing better. Google Ads also has its own built-in conversion tracking, so you can use that to gather some data. And then you can also use UTM tags and Google Analytics to see where your best leads are coming from. So just keep in mind, the ad campaigns, it's not about traffic, it's about tours. You could have 10,000 clicks and 0 move-ins, or you could have 50 clicks and 5 move-ins. Which campaign would you rather have? Smart Google ads are about precision and not volume. With the right campaign structure, location targeting, ad copy, and landing page, you don't just show up. You show up for the right people at the right time with the right message. And then what happens? You fill rooms faster, you lower your cost per move-in, and start building a wait list, not a worry list. The last thing I want to talk to you about is how to turn clicks into tours and how to make your website actually convert. Let's just recap real quick. You've done the hard work. You show up on Google, you got the click, someone landed on your website, and then crickets. No one filled out the form, no one picked up the phone, no one scheduled a tour. So what happened? Let's talk about one of the biggest missed opportunities I see in senior living marketing, and that's websites that get traffic but don't convert. A beautiful website's great. We build them all the time. But a website that turns visitors into tours, that's what fills rooms. And we have to keep that in mind. But let's think about, what does a conversion even mean? And let's keep that simple. A conversion is when someone who visits your website takes a meaningful action, okay? That could be filling out a scheduled tour form. That could be calling your community. That could be downloading a brochure. It could even be using a live chat to ask a question. So they didn't just browse, they engaged. Any type of engagement should be considered some type of conversion. So again, when we talk about conversion rate, we mean out of every 100 people who visit your site, how many actually take the next step? If you're not tracking this, you're literally flying blind. So if you track nothing else, that should be the one metric that you pay attention to. Most senior living websites convert at under 1%. Can you believe that? Scary. And that means that 99 out of 100 visitors leave without ever doing anything. But you also have to keep in mind that not everybody on your website is there for the same reason. Some people are just browsing for information. Some people aren't sure what options they need, and others are ready to take the next step. You have to think about ways to cater to each audience. But with a few key changes, we've been able to routinely help communities boost their conversion rates to 3 to 5% instead of 1% or higher, sometimes even double digits with the right landing pages and tools. And it's not rocket science at all. So let me just show you how real quick. So first, you need to make one action crystal clear on the page. When someone visits your website, they shouldn't have to ask, what do I do next? Your call to action, or CTA for short, needs to be visible above the fold. That means that somebody doesn't have to scroll to see it. It's right there in front of them. Okay. Next, it needs to be clear and it needs to be direct. So something like schedule a tour or learn more. And lastly, it needs to be repeated throughout the page. The same call to action needs to be repeated throughout the page, not just at the top. Second, optimize for mobile, because that's where people are. According to Google, over 70% of all senior care related searches happen on mobile devices. And I can tell you from our own data that over 70% of website visitors are coming from mobile devices. So if your website loads slowly on a phone, has buttons that are too small to tap, forces people to zoom in and read text, you're losing leads before the page even finishes loading. And you also have to keep in mind who your audience is. Most of your audience is older adults or their adult children. So you need to make sure your website accommodates people who might have visual impairments or motor skill impairments, or hearing impairments. Use large tappable buttons. Keep phone numbers click to call so somebody on a mobile device can literally just tap on it and they're connected to you. And then lastly, you need to make sure you keep your forms short. And that's actually what we're going to talk about next. You don't need to know someone's life story right away. You do need enough information to qualify them though. Your form should only ask for what's essential. And there's probably 7 things I would ask on a form. Their name, if they're searching for themselves or someone else, their phone number, their email, their preferred tour date and time, the living option they're interested in, and their budget. That's it. If you're asking for too much, like their loved one's birthday or their diagnosis or insurance, that's going to scare people off. And you can get that later. And you can qualify people without that. So right now, you just want to open the conversation. Next, you can add social proof where it matters on your landing page. So people trust other people more than they trust you, especially when they're about to make a major life decision. So think about adding resident or family testimonials to the page, and that can be written or video. Video is always great if it's high quality. Second, awards or accreditations, badges like Best of Senior Living or Top Rated on Google, and make sure these appear right next to your call to action, not hidden at the bottom of the page. And then lastly, again, you need to use tracking tools to see what's working and what's not. So just like the ad campaign, you don't have to guess what people are doing on your site. You can see it with tools like Hotjar, which shows you user activity on the page, or Microsoft Clarity. These actually show you where people click, where they scroll, and where they drop off. It's like a heat map for your website. Next, again, call tracking like CallRail, that'll tell you which calls came from your website or Google Ads, and even let you listen to the recordings to improve how your staff handles inquiries. And lastly, Google Analytics, that'll tell you how long people stay on your website or on a specific page on your website, how many people bounce or leave right away when they get there, and what pages they visit the most. So you don't need to be a tech expert. Just reviewing the basics once a month can uncover easy wins for you and your organization. But with a website or a landing page, just think about you need to test and tweak regularly. Your website's never done. It should be a living part of your marketing system. Try small tests like changing a headline from "Learn more about us" to "Schedule a tour today." Replace a stock photo with a real image of residents, moving your phone number to the top right corner, adding a chat with us button during business hours. Sometimes one small change can double your leads. So test, play around, see what works. Lastly, just think about your website as it's a sales rep that works 24/7 for your community. Imagine if you had a salesperson who never took a break, never got tired, and greeted every single family who wanted to learn more about your community. That's your website, but only if it's built to convert. You don't need fancy technology. You need clarity, you need speed, simplicity, and empathy. So make it easy to take the next step, and more families will, I promise you. Here is the big picture takeaway. Google isn't just a search engine anymore. It's the front door to your community. Whether someone is 5 minutes from your property or across the country trying to help their mom from a distance, Google is absolutely the bridge to do it. It's the place where first impressions are made, trust is built, and decisions begin. And what determines if you're part of that conversation? How visible you are, how relevant your message is, and how easy it is to take the next step. This isn't about chasing trends, trying to out-hack the algorithm. It's about showing up intentionally and building a digital presence that reflects the real strengths of your community. And I want you to keep in mind, your Google playbook isn't one move, it's actually a system. Think of what we covered today, not as 5 separate tactics, but as pieces of the same system. Your local SEO makes sure you're eligible to be found. Your Google business profile grabs attention when they do find you. Your Google ads accelerate visibility when you need it most. Your website conversion ensures that attention turns into action, and your ability to track and tweak keeps the system improving. So when these work together, you're not guessing anymore. You're generating predictable, qualified interest from people actively looking for what you offer. And I think this matters more than ever because the industry, it's changing. There's a reality that most providers are waking up to today. Referral costs are rising, occupancy targets are getting tighter, families are becoming more digitally savvy and more selective. So if your digital strategy isn't keeping pace, your census will suffer, period. So if your digital strategy isn't keeping pace, your census will suffer, period. I don't care how many older adults are coming into the market in the next 5, 10, 15 years. It won't matter. I'm telling you. If you own your local search presence, you don't just survive in this landscape. You will gain leverage. You'll control your pipeline. You'll grow on your terms. So if you're listening to this and feeling overwhelmed, my advice to you is just to start small. Update your Google business profile this week, and then check your website's mobile experience. Maybe run a basic SEO audit or get someone to help you do it. And look at your Google ads and cut any spend that isn't trackable. None of these are luxury tasks. These are just foundational steps that you can take to make major shifts with just a little bit of effort. And the longer you wait, the more leads you hand to the community down the road who is doing the work. You don't need to be a marketing expert to win on Google. You just need the right mindset, the right tools, and a commitment to consistently show up. And if you want some help along the way, that's exactly what we do at CCR Growth. We've helped senior living communities across the country build and manage digital strategies that lead to real outcomes like tours, move-ins, and long-term growth. So if you are tired of throwing money at marketing and hoping it sticks, let's talk about a strategy that's built to work. So if you found this episode valuable, make sure to subscribe to From Leads to Leases on your favorite podcast platform or YouTube so you never miss an episode. I also encourage you to leave a comment and let us know what strategies you're putting into action or what's already working for you. And lastly, please share this episode with your network and anyone who might find it useful. There's someone out there, I know, there's someone out there who needs these insights to grow their community. So I'm Jerry Vinci, CEO of CCR Growth. Thanks for tuning in to From Leads to Leases. I'm truly grateful for your time and attention. Until next time, lead with strategy and with heart. Chat with you again soon.
Thanks for listening to From Leads to Leases. Are you ready to fill your rooms faster and increase occupancy? Visit ccrgrowth.com to learn about our Senior Growth Innovation Suite, a proven system to generate highly qualified, tour-ready leads, accelerate sales, and reduce acquisition costs. Let's connect and turn your challenges into opportunities. See you next time.